Wow. Wow. Get ready. Get ready. It's going to be absolutely explosive if that happens. Our reversal right now, what we're heading into, we're trying to break above this trend line, right? And if you see the previous 2 times when Bitcoin has broken out past that trend line, good things have happened. Very, very good things have happened, right? And we are right there. In fact, I think we have broken it. I think we have broken it already. So let me zoom out here. Do I have my trend lines? Yep. Yep, we did. We sure did right there. So, what happened after the last 2 times? Well, you can see hundreds of thousands of percent of gains afterwards. Good stuff. Good stuff. And in terms of long-term holders, I know almost everyone watching this right now is a long-term holder, but long-term holders now control 85% of Bitcoin. 85%. Very, very, very little of Bitcoin is out in circulation and being traded among retail investors. Almost all of it is being held by long-term holders. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. What about Bitcoin itself? Well, according to Plan B, the percent of Bitcoin in profit now has moved to the green dot. So why is that good? Well, the green dot first green dot means 70% of Bitcoin is in profit, but you could see all the previous bottoms that we had going all the way back to the very first drop back in 2012 or 2011, 2012. We always end the bottom with a blue dot, which is around 50% of Bitcoin in circulation being held in profit. And then we come up from there. We go into kind of like the teal and then green, right? And then we move up. Eventually, we hit a top to red, which is basically 100%. That's usually near tops. But right now, you can see a big flip from deep blue to green. A nice visual way to look at our recovery right now. Also, again, more fractal patterns comparing. What about this? Coinbase Halt operation in Japan, right? I don't know how many of you guys are watching me from Japan, but Japan operates a little bit differently. All exchanges that operate in Japan needs to have like a separate entity, a separate balance sheet. It's kind of like cut off from the main corporation, right? So even like FTX Japan, which seems to be very solvent, and FTX is looking to sell FTX Japan, Coinbase operates the same way and everyone else does. But because Coinbase recently had to lay off 20% of their staff, a lot of that staff was headquartered in Japan. So they made a tough decision to say, hey, it's just not worth it for us to operate. We are cutting back. In case you are in Japan, you have a deadline. Withdrawal for both fiat and crypto will be available until February 16th. Okay? And customers will still be able to deposit fiat until January 20th. I'm not even sure why they're going to allow people to deposit for the next 2 days, but you have 2 more days for deposits, and then you have about a month where both fiat and crypto withdrawals will be stopped. And I don't know what happens if you forget, but it's happening very, very, very soon, right? So does this mean, some of you guys may be wondering, well, does this mean Coinbase is in trouble? They're shutting down operations. Well, financially, I do think they're hurting right now, which is why they've been laying people off quite a lot. Their stock, even though it has staged a little bit of comeback because Bitcoin has started coming up, but still, their stock has been hammered like 80, 90% since its IPO. So financially, they're struggling a little bit, right? Probably not making nearly as many collecting nearly as many fees as they used to when everyone's trading, much more. But I do think they're still one of the best in the industry, definitely the largest and most regulated in the U.S. And as the whole crypto market swings upwards, I think they'll be just fine. But right now, it does seem like financially they are hurting quite a lot. But you know who's not hurting is Binance. And Binance now just opens up in Poland. So any of you guys watching from Poland, it looks like you'll be able to trade in Binance. Okay, good overall. Wholesale prices fell 0.5% in December. This is good. That means that prices of goods are going down, right? Other than probably like eggs have gone up, but everything else has been coming down and more than expected. So that's actually really good. That shows that inflation is coming down. Also, retail sales slump at the end of 2022. That's also good. People are not buying as much, okay, which also helps prices go down. Again, these are slowness, softening that Fed Chair Powell wants to see, right? So we're seeing a lot of that. All this data that's coming out for December and last few months show that we are definitely going down. Again, softening, not crashing. That's what we want. We don't want a U.S. economy to crash. The U.S. market should be in the green right now, yes, and it's driving things higher because anticipation of this right here. We know that in a couple weeks we're going to have another rate hike. So what is Powell going to do, right? Because of all the softening data, the market is now predicting. I don't know if it's this dovish or this bullish, because he already stated he wants the Fed fund rate to be about 5.25%, and we're about 4.25%. Okay, so technically speaking, we got a ways to go, but because of the softening. Now it's predicted that this next rate hike will only be 25 basis points, and then the one after that will be 25 basis points, and then he will stop altogether. And then we may see rate cuts later on this year, starting November. So that's kind of like the new market expectation. Is that reality? If so, that would be extremely, extremely bullish. Okay? If we get in 2 weeks a 25 basis point hike rather than a 50, which was almost locked in stone after this last meeting, if we get that, man, and then he has more dovish language saying, well, we think this is correct. We're going to be very cautious with any rate hikes in the future, right? And March, we get another one or none at all in March as inflation numbers come down.